Virgin Galactic had their voyage with Sir Richard Branson, among some other passengers, in their Virgin Galactic flight. It was actually really amazing. I thought it was pretty awesome to see it all on display. And this isn't just about taking an aircraft into space, right, into orbit. It's more about revolutionizing travel, and I think that this is a huge step towards that. And what I mean by this is, like, if you looked at the way that everything transpired today, which was really incredible to watch, it was just, I feel like it was one of those moments where, you know, our grandparents watched the landing on the moon. I think this is kind of one of those pivotal moments where I'm going to be like, I know exactly where I was when I watched this, because I could see this evolving into how people travel in the future. If you want to be, we're in Baltimore City, Maryland. If I want to be in China in 2 hours, I could do that with this type of technology, with the way that things are evolving as far as air travel is concerned. And, you know, people might be shaking their heads right now because of how expensive it is. But Fat Man Zoom, you look at the way that air travel has evolved, even from its early days. Remember, I don't remember, but I remember hearing about stories about how people wouldn't get on a plane unless they were in a suit and tie. You know what I mean? So, like, things have just evolved. And I think that this could certainly be something, while it may take a while to get there, this could be something very, very big for the air travel industry.
Oh, it's gigantic. I mean, you know, over time, cost should be addressed and efficiency of costs. But the reality is, again, we talked about sort of the world shrinking. This is a landmark moment, and something that, you know, safety and cost are going to be the two things. And you know, you think about when the first plane flew, it's like, you couldn't imagine what it would turn into, I'm sure. And it's the same thing here. Like you talked about, here to China in a couple hours, like that seems unfathomable, but at some point that could be a reality for the next generation or the generation after that.
Yeah, I agree, and it's I mean, what a sign of leadership from Richard Branson too, right? To be like on the first flight. I mean, the dude's, I don't even know how old this guy is, but he's up there. So for, like, I guess that sign of leadership and confidence obviously has a lot to do with marketing and that sort of thing as well. I'm not oblivious to that, but I think it's very big for SPCE and Virgin Galactic. The other thing is that there has been some pushback from some other competitors. Not from Elon Musk. He actually reportedly bought a ticket on one of the very early Virgin Galactic flights. So I'm guessing he's going to be going on one of those flights very soon. But Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin has argued that Mr. Branson's trip does not really count as a trip into space because, according to them, he did not cross the Kármán line, which defines the boundary of space, according to some. But according to NASA, if you're 50 miles above Earth, that you are in space, you're considered an astronaut. And actually, all of these passengers that were on the Virgin Galactic flight today were considered astronauts, which I'm not sure how I feel about. I'm not sure how I feel about that term, being called an astronaut. But because I think that that's reserved for highly intelligent people that have gone deep into space. But I think this definitely draws a lot of controversy as far as what being in space actually means. I mean, today they were up 280,000 feet in space. So I don't know. It's from 280,000 feet from Earth, which is 55 miles. I think technically, according to NASA, that means that they were in space. But Blue Origin obviously is going to have something to say about that. So there's definitely competition in this space, and I think that that's going to probably revolutionize the way that we travel even further, probably faster.
Well, this is an interesting industry because if you're getting SPCE, it's really off of hype, and off of this competition, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be hard for them to create this profitable model, but if there's hype and you're the first one to do it, you can make a run off of it. My question to you is SPCE around 10 years from now? Like, will they, not can they, because obviously they can, but will they succeed and become a profitable company?
That's a great question. Can Can they be a profitable company in 10 years? I just don't see that happening. I mean, we look at the airline industry right now. It's extremely hard just to be profitable within the atmosphere, right? So I don't think that they'll be profitable in 10 years. I think that's probably a bit far-fetched. As far as them being around, I think it will be. I think it's just going to continue to evolve. People are obsessed with space right now, and I think that's going to keep it going. As far as profitability is concerned, I still think it's a long road ahead, which brings me to the next, thought here, right? What's it going to do tomorrow? We saw, looking at the chart here, we saw that space, SPCE, Virgin Galactic, had a monster run from 1427 from its last earnings and has continued to move up. It gapped up at the beginning of July and it's been hanging around up here. I would be very nervous if I was a Virgin Galactic holder, and let me explain why. This has moved up in anticipation of this event, right? And so anytime we see a hyped up event like this and the stock runs into that event, what usually ends up happening is that we see a selling of the news. Now, this is great news, right? The news and how it impacts Virgin Galactic is huge. But what ends up happening is that people see this catalyst take place. It's already happened. So why am I holding it at this point? Why am I holding it even further? So then they're going to sell it until the next catalyst comes about. So what I could see happening here is that we probably see a huge gap up in the morning. People get super excited about it because they're already hyped about what's been going on and they're excited about the future. And then the stock market opens up tomorrow, and I think we could see some significant selling, some significant profit taking. You can see the bottom here is at 14.27 recently. It's gone all the way up and upwards of around $55, $57 a share. And I think that there could be those people that were making 300% on their investment could be cashing out tomorrow. So I think that's definitely a possibility. I'm not saying that it can't go higher, but in most cases, when you see significant events like this and the event passes, that's when the selling starts.
Yeah, I would agree, man. I don't want to be not a bone in my body wants to be in this, but depending on your risk profile, risk tolerance, high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
We've talked about these in certain stocks, but I agree with you. It's like you're essentially banking on the next bit of news and excitement into the news. But we saw, don't forget, that it was this launch that was delayed. And so that there was a run, then it like really hit the stock. And so it's going to be a bumpy ride. But if you have a high risk tolerance, this could end up paying off, depending on how the news comes and how successful they continue to be.
Yeah. And that's really what it comes down to, right? I mean, your risk tolerance, if you have the time horizon to stick into this for probably a very long time, I think you'll be okay. But just as I mentioned before, I don't see how they're profitable in the next decade. And I guess I never really did ask your opinion on that, Fat Man Zoom, but are you in line with that as well?
Yeah, I don't think they'll be around. I think what's more likely is they'll be private, because a company like this, it's really hard to be public. Your point is great. I didn't even really think about that as far as like how challenging the airline industry is and how long it's been around. So the likelihood of profitability is very low.
Yeah.
This is the one industry where I don't think it benefits you to be first mover. I think it could give you a pop, but I think that other people, like competition coming in, will see what you're doing and make it better. And so I actually think that hurts being a first mover. I don't think there's any way this company is around in 10 years publicly. But I just think as you grow, the losses are going to actually compound. When we see efficiencies in travel, you're talking about decades that the efficiencies have to come. So no, I don't think it'll be around. I think it's more likely that like you just decide to take it private and then somebody puts in a shit ton of money and ends up going that route.
And with that, we are very happy that Chamath Palihapitiya is not watching this live stream.
And Chamath, we still trust.
Yes, Chamath, we still trust. Maybe just not so much with this one.